Hey everyone, welcome back to Wonderland Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about a 1988 Australian version. And this one is animated. And I will say, while we don't have the best view of it, aside from the Disney version, this is probably the best animated version that we've seen. At least that I've seen, because I've seen some really awful ones. And this one wasn't quite awful, but I probably wouldn't watch it again. What did you think of it?
I just gave you side eyes and a crinkle brow on that. So, apparently this was upon request that we review this. So
a comment came in the other day from a viewer named Zachary Lunsford. So,
hi, Zachary.
I hope you're not offended that we didn't really like it, but
hey, we're spotlighting it now, so our corner of the world can know about it.
If you like 80s things, I would definitely say watch this one.
I would say maybe if you like 80s things and you're not picky about Alice and you want a cartoon to show to some kids, this could potentially be entertaining for them.
One of my biggest problems with it is, well, I guess I have more than one biggest problem, but the one that comes to mind first is the many changes they made to the story. Like, the biggest, most glaring one was the fact that the beautiful garden that she saw through the door was not the Queen's garden. It was this random garden where this weird race happened.
But, and I thought maybe it would be the caucus race, but then they have the caucus race later. Yeah. This version, they made it all about her and the beautiful garden, and yet she never gets to the beautiful garden.
Yeah.
So, if there was some hidden meaning, let us know. The thing is, with this one, they kept a lot of the sequence. They kept a lot of the scenes and some of the original dialogue, but they kept changing things. Maybe they wanted to make it more understandable, or they wanted to throw in their own joke. I love birds, and they were picking on the dodo too much. I really thought when they got to the trial, maybe they would have her go on to the garden after that, because they kept looping back to that so much. And then she woke up.
Mm-hmm.
There was no sister. It was just her. And it was like it was the story, but it was so far off from the story. I mean, like, the cook was a man, and a slightly psychotic, sort of Italian-looking man. He thought he looked like a cartoonish devil-type person. The baby was already a pig.
Except, well, they might have, when she didn't see the baby, it might have been a baby, because there was some horrible baby pig noises coming out of the house before she got in there.
There was at least one baby cry in there, mingled with pig. He hated the Cheshire Cat. He had sort of a
gurgly voice.
Gurgly, sleazy Italian type voice that was just kind of
very off-putting. I did not like the Cheshire Cat's voice at all.
In that direction lives a hatter. He's quite mad. In that direction lives a March hare. And he's completely mad.
I couldn't tell you which one I dislike more. The 30s one where they're constantly trying to act like a cat, or this guy. I think maybe oh man, which one would I rather be put through? I don't know.
Yeah, while we're on the subject of voices, there was a lot of weird voices in this one. And multiple voices sounded like they were trying to be the same impression of a person. Like, specifically Ed Wynn, there were 3 different characters that sounded like they were trying to be Ed Wynn. The Mad Hatter which Edwin did the voice of the Mad Hatter in the Disney version. So I guess I understand that one. It's very unoriginal, but I guess I understand that.
I don't know if I knew that. You see, if Edwin was the real voice of one or more of these characters, then...
Yeah, I looked it up. It wasn't Edwin. The dodo also sounded sort of like Edwin, except an even more crazy version of his voice.
Excuse me, Mr. Dodo. Do you know the way into that most beautiful garden on the other side of the sea?
Garden? Garden? How would I know anything about garden? I'm extinct.
And then one of the cards also sounded like him. And then both the White Rabbit and the Mock Turtle sounded like a weird Truman Capote impression.
Why do they call you a mock turtle?
Because I'm not a real turtle. That's my trouble.
There were multiple other people that sounded like they were trying to be an impression of somebody that I couldn't quite figure it out. One of the cards sounded like somebody the Animaniacs spoofed a lot, and I cannot figure out who the person was. But I know I've heard that specific impression on the Animaniacs multiple times.
Why are you painting the white roses red?
Why, miss, there should have been a red rose, but Spade planted a white one by mistake.
The thing that probably annoyed him the most, I don't know about me, was that they kept repeating the beginning of the theme song.
I don't know that I found it excruciatingly annoying, but it was like mildly annoying that it kept playing in the background, sometimes with dialogue over top of the song, which had lyrics. That was what really threw me off. Like, why do you need to keep repeating this song over and over and over again? It was like 5 or 6 times throughout the whole movie.
I didn't count, but it was a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't a horrible song, but it was just weird that they kept going back to it. Like, they didn't have enough music to fill up the movie, so they threw in the theme song to start playing and fill some time. I don't know.
I don't know. The book is the ultimate, really. The book is the ultimate, and we've actually seen some good versions, but I wouldn't be likely to go back to this one.
Yeah, me neither.
I really like it when they dig into the original charm, even if the effects aren't, they don't even have to be that amazing, but if they're really digging into the charm of the original script. If you're just trying to make some silly jokes and have a bunch of silly animals, and if you're 4, you can grasp, oh, she's trying to get to the garden, oh look, there's a bird, then it works, I guess.
This strikes me as a version that would be popular with kids and with people who may have grown up with it, and maybe that's why it was requested, because it really seemed to me like something that would have a lot of nostalgia factor.
Hey man,
for it.
I used to watch Bananas in Pajamas, so comment for us if this is something that you grew up watching, if maybe this got you interested in Alice in Wonderland to begin with. It's not all bad. If it's near and dear to your heart, go ahead and keep it there. If I'd grown up watching it, maybe I would feel the same way, but I really didn't. So, there are still cartoons that I watched as a child that I would rewatch now, and have rewatched in adulthood. So
there's a few things like that for me. I really love the Disney movie Dinosaur, but it's like, at least online it seems to be universally hated, but I really liked it as a kid and I really like it now.
Sure.
I feel like this is probably the same thing. If you grew up with it, you probably will still like it.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie. Anyway, we watched this one. Don't hate us. Yeah. So, if you love 80s, if it's nostalgic for you, if you want a version to show to kids and you're not too picky about the accuracy of it, you don't want them to start learning the political undertones of Lewis Carroll's writing, maybe watch this one.
Yeah.
But if you're like us and you're going to pick up, for me, it's like the Mad Hatter was in the juror box. He's supposed to be a witness, not in the jury. So if you're like me, maybe pick a different version.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to sum it up. Okay, I think that's going to be all for today's Wonderland Wednesday. As usual, we don't know what we're doing next. I guess we'll be surprised when we get there. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
You just won't believe